Okay, now I'm going to see who accepts the stream.
Yeah, we gotta wait for the handshakes.
Twitch has accepted the stream. YouTube has accepted the stream.
Oh, good.
Now we're just waiting for Facebook.
Facebook has accepted the stream. Okay, Mick, flip the switch.
So just flip the switch, no countdown timer?
Well, I don't want to chance it today.
Okay, so switch is flipped, light is on, and we're on the air.
You're on the air.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mick's World. Tonight we will have a conversation about teachers, how teachers are treated, and the lack of teachers in the United States. And on the phone, I have a colleague from all the way from Florida. So, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Good. So ask away questions. People call in, ask me questions.
Yeah, I have to.
I'm going to be brutally honest.
That's scary.
Well,
so hang on a second. Why am I not? I know what I gotta do. I'm trying to share this with people, so it's taking me a couple seconds. Okay, so do this. Turn that off. Okay, so do this. Turn that off. Okay, so first off, how big of a lack are we looking at? First off, how big of a lack are we looking at?
Even
First
just
off,
the past 2 weeks is that
how big of a
what
lack
I
are we
gathered,
looking at?
majority of first-year teachers who just graduated last year are leaving the profession already. So they're 1 year in and they're already leaving the profession. That's the first thing. And these are young men and women who are leaving because of the lack of help and support from administration.
Well, that's always been an issue with admin.
And then I see people like me who are going into the profession. I've been into the profession, and I've just been accepted at St. Leo University in the state of Florida to get my actual degree in early childhood education with 2 endorsements. One is reading, and an extra one is art, and there is one more endorsement. Whatever comes along with that one will be a bachelor's. My credentials, thank goodness, from New York qualify me enough to be a teacher down here. And then my credits will be credited from everything that I've done in New York will be credited here. So I will jump actually 2 grades. That is why it's important, especially New Yorkers, to get your education. If you're going to get it in New York.
Do we have a comments box, Richard?
I'll check.
Because it is called the Empire State for a reason. Because our New York's education standards are higher. They're higher than Florida. Florida is 2 years behind. Pennsylvania is 2 years behind. I think Ohio is 2 years behind. A couple of states are 2 years behind the New York State education standards.
Okay, yeah, we do have a comment. We do have a comments box.
Okay.
And Justin's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Justin. So, everybody, we're behind. And long story short, what have you seen? How have you seen some of the teachers being treated?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. There's lots of different rationalities. Nowadays, a lot of the parents and They call it gentle parenting. And unfortunately, it's just not working, and they're finding out that it's backfiring now. I personally have removed myself from a ninth grade assignment, a permanent teacher position, after I was threatened for the third time to get shot. And I went to administration about it, and I did not know I was the third teacher. Same student, third teacher, third strike, and administration did absolutely nothing. So I actually pulled myself out of that situation. I went to administration. I was down in administration, and I asked them why there is no consequences for things that these kids are doing. And the answer I got was they were afraid they're going to get sued. And that was the answer I got.
Yeah, back
And that
in
was at a high school. That was at this. This was in October, I think. This was in October, and this is coming from a school that has 6 principals, one for 9th, one for 10th, one for 11th, 12th, senior, regular principal, assistant principal. No reason for any of this drama to be going on. And this particular school now, I've been told, has 3 gangs going on in it. The administration has lost total control at that particular school. I have seen teachers being bitten, slapped, kicked, punched, knocked out, broken legs, threatened, left in tears, collapsed, nervous breakdowns.
That crap wouldn't.
I think that's enough.
Yeah,
I think that's enough.
That crap wouldn't have been put up with when we went to school. Our heads would have been taken off, and the cops would have been.
Right. Well, see, here's the thing: there is no consequences, and I'm not saying all. Majority of the parents just don't care. The thing of it is they come screaming at these teachers because their children have failing grades. You can't blame the teacher. It is not our fault. We do our job. We come in there, we teach, and substitutes, pretty for the most part, they come in and they are ready to teach. Okay? They're not there just to be glorified babysitters. So speaking from the point of view down here in Florida, substitutes, majority of us will teach an active class. I myself am an active teacher. I teach. I'm there to teach. They are there to learn. Is there any questions? Does anybody have any other questions?
The question that came across: does this teacher's students have a lack of school supplies? And that's from Richard.
Well, yes, because there's this back and forth battle because you have there are parents who feel that they shouldn't buy school supplies, that the school district should supply them. Then you have parents who are willing to buy supplies and other parents not. So it's a big battle. Us teachers buy a bulk of our stuff on our own. We do not get reimbursed for it. It is out of pocket. So I bought a lot of stuff for my classes. Like I have pencils, pens, markers. I have my own dry erase marker. I mean, I just bought everything. I have everything, right down from the stapler to the hole puncher. There is a lack, but what parents and people don't understand that the schools give out school lists for a reason, because parents are responsible to buy their own children's school supplies. That's just the way it is. Okay, when I went to school, my mom and dad had school lists for 3 of us, and my mom took us all in one evening to go get all our supplies. Now, when these parents ask for, they ask for supplies, then so if each student brings in their supplies, so then that classroom should be prepared and ready for the whole year. There should be nothing because it will go into a general fund. The teachers have cabinets and they put everything. And believe me, when I tell you these kids go through probably 5 pencils a day, I'm not joking. They drop them, they lose them, they break them, they chew on the erasers, they're sticking them in their ears, in their eyes, and everywhere else, except for on the paper.
And the funny part about it is I met a Marine at the Walmart by me who made a comment to me the other day that said that some of the firearms that are out there are now considered wireless hole punchers, which made it fun.
No. Any questions? Anybody else have any more questions?
Not yet. We're still just the 3. So,
Is the shortage a crisis? Yes. Will it be a crisis for September? Yes. Yes. I don't know what these schools and these school districts are going to do. They are going to rely on substitute teachers.
and if you can't get enough substitute teachers to come walking through the door, you're kind of SOL anyway.
You are. Then what they have been doing, and I personally stick to my contract and my contract hours. So because I just left an assignment because of nonsense. So I was supposed to be on a long-term assignment for behavior. I was an intervention specialist, and I loved it. I was all over the campus. I did my thing. If the children got in trouble, they were brought to us, and we would decide what they would get. Whether it would be they would have to they would have to write an apology on a paper, and then spend some time in with us, for a little time out, a little break, depending on what happened. But then they decided to pull me to use me as a support because there was a union involved, because the union's now involved, because these teachers, it's hard for us to teach when we have a lot of disruptions. There's majority of the classes have anywhere from 4 to 6 children who have behavior issues. And so they have them all, together. And then you have the other children who are disabled, technically, and they streamline them as well. So it's really hard for teachers right now because that's how it was at the high school I was at that I left. So they said they didn't have budget for these children who really were disabled, who needed like a 12 one-on-one or a 10 one-on-one class with aides, and extra support.
Yeah. There was another question
that came.
But you have
6 principals.
Another question that came in: are most teachers making a living wage?
No. We get just over minimum wage, and in the state of Florida, that's $11.10. No, that is what we get paid. So I had a student that told me I should be bowing down to them because I make 6 figures a year. And I said to them, I don't know where you heard that, but that is not true. Google. I said, well, Google's wrong. Maybe some teachers and professors, maybe who are a little higher up, maybe like up in Connecticut and, states like that, possibly professors, but not primary school teachers. Absolutely not.
Well, my history with school, so I can understand where you're coming from. So, on top of that, we have, like you said, New York has a higher ranking than most of the southern schools. Because I remember when I went to elementary school down in Louisiana, they sent a note home, first day of school, they sent a note home with the kids to their parents asking permission to spank them.
Yes. Yes, so I think a lot of the southern schools are going to be going back to that. I think their districts are sick and tired of what's going on. They are going to, I'm not saying for sure, but I think that spankings are going to possibly be coming back. Don't quote me, but the way I see things, if administrators don't start taking action and help. We already are in crisis mode. I'm telling everybody right now. We are, and in Florida, we only have another month to go. We have 6 weeks. That's it. They're done. And there's teachers actually leaving now. They don't care if they have 6 weeks left. They're fed up. They pack their stuff up and they leave. Some have walked right out and says, I won't even come back for my stuff. You guys can have it. They leave their school supplies. They just take their purse and they go. That's how upset and hurt and some of these teachers are.
Another question is, are there students who threaten you with physical force?
Every day. And I'm not just talking high schools. I'm not talking middle schools, which down in the state of Florida, middle school is anything from 6, they go 6th, 7th, 8th is middle school. High school is 9th, 10th, and 11th here. It's different than in New York. In New York, primary, elementary is pre-K through 6th. And then middle school is 7th and 8th. It's different down here. It's totally different. I was at a school. It was an elementary school. We had a second grader who brought a knife to school.
Damn.
Last week. We've had guns at our school. We have children who are younger, who will be, they're aggressive. They're very aggressive. They will flip over tables, chairs, hit, kick, bite, pinch the teachers. And unfortunately, if you are not certified down here, which I am, you have to be crisis prevention certified to be able to even touch a child. If you are not, you can't even touch a child. So if you don't have anybody that is CPI certified and you have a child throwing desks, you will have no choice but to call the sheriffs to detain him.
We got a question that came in. What is the teacher's opinion regarding actual teaching versus teaching to the testing the students need to take?
The teaching to the testing? I'm not quite understanding the question. Like, what do they mean, teaching to testing? Like,
because there's, like up here we have like midterms, we have final exams, and most of the teachers will just teach what's needed for the test.
No, down here it's different. So we have a certain curriculum that we have to follow, and we have to follow that curriculum, and so whatever the curriculum is for that, because they have it broken down into counties, and then they have it broken down into boroughs, and then they have it broken down into districts. So whatever that district, I'm just going to say district, each district, okay, whatever they have broken down into that district is what the curriculum is, and that comes from the state of Florida. And then hence then, so basically pretty much on, say, Monday, everybody, because they have STEM programs here, which is, that's actually, it's a science, technology, and then English and math. So what they do is they'll have a teacher for the science and technology part, and then they'll have another teacher for it's English, ELA, they call it ELA, and math. So they switch classes. So this teacher will have, so the morning in their homeroom classes, and then like halfway through, so it'll be like it's usually 11, the kids go to lunch, they come back, and then they go to the other teacher. So there's two teachers that flip, they call them STEM programs. I'm not a fan of it because I don't think it's teaching traditional education.
It sounds like the special education that I had to go through, where I had two different teachers.
But it's not. It just teaches different. It just teaches different categories, and then, and parents can opt out of that and get traditional teaching. A lot of the schools offer the STEM programs now. I am not endorsing as a STEM teacher because I'm just not going to. I just it's just not my cup of tea. And as far as teaching and versus um, testing, they get taught right up until the test down here, and they get taught their regular curriculum. So it doesn't matter what is on the test or what isn't on the test, because last year, from what I gathered, what was on the test wasn't even in the curriculum. It's whatever the districts feel they need to put in there to test. So even though we could be testing a certain subject or something, it's all whatever the district decides to put out as far as the test. And it could be nothing they even learned this year. It could be from the previous year. They want to see how these children are progressing. You know what I mean? From second grade to third grade. Are they flourishing? Are they not? Where are their weaknesses? Testing is nothing more than testing. Testing for us, I mean, the final test, for them to pass, but like the regents and all that other stuff, that has nothing to do with teachers. I mean, they learn what they need to learn, but us teachers have no say in it, because that money, when they test high, is then when those are the districts that get more funding. That's all that is for funding.
Okay, Richard asked, were you surprised when you heard about a 6-year-old who brought a gun to school?
No, I was actually, I've been following that case very, very closely. I feel administration failed her miserably, horribly. There was no peace officers in that school. A lot of the schools down here, they have a sheriff in here, but they call them peace officers. On some of the schools, they have security. They're called the guardian angels. And those are individuals who could come in who have a concealed carry. They usually like to prefer veterans to protect these children. They call them guardian angels. I've only been in contact with the sheriffs, because there is a sheriff peace officer at every school, but there is only one. There's only one.
They call them resource officers up here.
Right. It's the same down here. The same. Some people call them peace officers. Some call them resource officers. Some just call them the sheriff. I always identify them as the sheriff, because that's what they are.
Okay, so
not all schools. Some schools just have security.
Richard brought up 3 other questions. One is, do you have to worry about hang on. Do you have to worry about trigger warnings? And
yes.
If a student says they didn't do their homework because of anxiety, is that a valid excuse? Is the second question.
No.
And then the third question is, do you allow students to look at their phones during class time?
Oh, do I allow students to look at their phones? So you have the answer. You had the 2 first answers. Did everybody hear the answers? The first 2, simple yes and no. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I allow students to have phones? Absolutely not. Under any circumstances do I allow cell phones in my classroom when I am teaching. They are to be put away. It is a battle, because a lot of these schools let them have them. Now, I know the school that I just left, they were not allowed to have them. It was an elementary school, and personally, I don't think elementary children need a cell phone. There's no need for them to have cell phones.
And then
we had a girl last week, because I went and got her. She had a smartwatch, she had an Apple Watch, and she was video recording and taping other students and the teacher without permission.
Damn.
And it was a teacher's job.
And then
in that school.
Another question that Richard brought up: do you have drills about what to do in an event of a mass shooting?
Yes, we have to do our own. They do drills monthly down here.
Active shooter drills is what I'm talking about.
Yes, they do them. They do them monthly along with fire drills. So like one day, like they'll do, like usually in the same week they'll do that and that, and they actually do they actually make it very real down here. They have people coming in, slamming, pounding, trying to get indoors, this, that, or the other. But the way they teach it down here, I'm not crazy about because to me, how I was trained. So what they do is they have the kids. You're supposed to like put the blinds down, put like black things over the window. This specific school that I was at, we had a live shooter. Wasn't a drill. And so I was actually subbing at the specific school, and there was nothing for me to cover my window. So they teach them to pile chairs and tables and stuff in front of the door to barricade yourself in. But yet there's a window. What is the purpose of that? Because to me, thinking military style, you're sending a red flag. They're going to know to go to that room because there's furniture all there. To me, it's a dumb scenario. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because if you can't cover the window, they can see the room's barricaded. They're going to know that that whole room is a classroom full of students, and that's the room they're going to hit.
I saw a thing on Facebook, and this was a while back, about a school that installed a thing for active shooters where they put smoke in the hallways, and they could control it, and it automatically, whenever that went off, that automatically alerted the local authorities. That's what but you said to me it's like they prefer veterans. And yes. That's my thought is
they're very big on veterans down here in Florida. They really honor them tremendously down here. I can't say enough. And my father is at the VA now. He's sick, and the hospital. He's at Bay Pines, and they're gorgeous. The hospitals down here are absolutely stunning.
A lot better than the Buffalo VA.
Oh my gosh! Oh, even the regular hospital. I was in the hospital 2 weeks ago. It's almost a month ago. I was in a ATV accident with my back, and I was at Tampa General, and I got fantastic care. Fantastic care. But yeah, so they really honor the veterans down here. Unfortunately, a lot of the campuses, they're all on lockdown. Some of them have bars from, the ground up. They have cages, people, coming and going. They're pretty good, I have to say, here. I'm not going to say that we're perfect because we have flaws, but they're on top of it down here.
It's part. Like I've told you my theory about an active shooter before, and how my thought on preventing it is you put veterans in a room by each door, by the entrance doors, and let them loose. If an active shooter comes through the door, let the veteran deal with it and drop them, like a bad habit.
Yeah, they're trying to get. A lot of veterans in to do this because it's I'm just going to be very blunt. It's a crap show. The whole United States is a crap show right now. We are the laughing stock, but the education issue is not just here. In London and England, they're having problems. Canada is having the same problems. Their teachers are leaving in droves. London, the same thing. England, the same thing. It's actually a worldwide issue. It's a complete worldwide issue, but it's more heavily hit here in the United States.
The entire world's gone into a shitstorm.
It is.
And I'll say that right on my show. I don't care.
It is. It's a nightmare. And, yeah. Honey, you want to go outside? Okay, well, I hope he's looking for I'm sorry, guys. We had to order grilled milk. We're waiting for our food. We're starving. Is there any more questions?
No, that was all the questions that came in
Okay.
so far.
But the crisis is real. The crisis is real. I'm just going to put it out there. The crisis is real. Teachers need more pay. Parents need to step up their game. No more this gentle parenting and, oh, well, now. No. If these parents don't start taking control over their children, there will be no school because you will not be able to get teachers to come in. We don't come in to be abused. We don't come in to be security officers. We don't come in to be plumbers or anything other than teach the children and to give them a good education that we possibly can give them.
Okay, we got another question. It goes, do the students see the importance of not cheating, or do cell phones and watches help the students cheat?
Though cell phones and the watches, it happened to me. I gave a science test, and 5 guys all had the same correct answers. They all got hundreds. And they all got the same one wrong. When he had them to retake it again, which I didn't know, but there was a camera in the lab behind me that caught them cheating on their phones. Apparently, I didn't see it. So they were caught, and they almost got expelled from school. And if you're expelled, you're done. You have to be homeschooled pretty much.
Damn. I wouldn't want to be homeschooled because I can imagine how strict my parents would have been.
They're not strict because you know what?
No, I meant my parents.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. So they're still blaming COVID for everything. You can't blame COVID for your child not learning. The only thing that happens during COVID as far as the learning phase, if they didn't get the proper socialization being in school. Because I had somebody ask me, how do I feel about homeschooling and how do I feel about things? I see both points of view. However, if they're homeschooled, they're not getting socialization. They're not getting better exercise, being in gym class, music, art, things like that. Field trips. They're missing out. So, and if they're homeschooled, they could turn that computer on and just leave it running and go and play video games. There's nobody to monitor them. As long as that computer is running and they're doing their programs, then they're pushing them through. Here they have no child left behind law, which basically means no child fails here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, New York.
Fail.
New York likes to pull that too.
They do fail them occasionally, or they can't have a grade lower. I think that it's 63 in the state of Florida. But parents, they really get upset and mad with teachers because they're, us teachers are calling home and we don't get a response, or they'll call us when their child has a 27 average and that they have no assignments turned in, and they're blaming us as teachers. That is not our fault. If we give them an assignment to do, and they are to do it at home, which they could use Google and whatever, you know what I mean? But they have to list where they found their sources, what their sources were, and because we watch for piracy and things like that.
Plagiarism.
Right. Yep, we watch for that. That's really big down here. Us teachers don't tolerate that down here. You will get a 0. The children now, they don't know how to read an analog clock down here, and they don't know how to write cursive. They've taught them to print with a pencil, that is a legal signature, and that is untrue.
Damn.
That is not a legal signature. I had one girl who asked me if she could write in cursive. I said, absolutely. I was so proud. That was a proud mama moment for me, and a couple who could read the clock. But majority of them, they don't teach that. They don't feel that they need to know how to read an analog clock.
Okay, now I got a question for you, and because this comes from when I went to school. Does Florida have a 21 to life class?
A what?
I call them 21 to life classes. They're classes for the mentally and physically disabled, or
Yeah, they just go in extended school years. Yeah.
well, I don't want to. Well, yeah, extended school years.
Yes,
I call them
extended
21 to
school year.
life.
Yeah, extended school years. Yes, I think they do.
You
I
know,
think it would be a little longer down here because their standards are lower.
well,
But don't quote me.
these
Don't quote
the
me, like,
classes I'm talking about are classes that are designed to just teach them basic living skills, how to,
yeah, I know what
take
you're
care of
talking about.
themselves and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean like a home economic class? No.
No, not a home economic class. They take the kids, like, say for example you've got a child who has mental retardation. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but they have that, or they're like, I've known kids that have just been, slower than everybody else, and I call it a 21 to life class because they're in there until they turn 21, and then they're released on society. I've had friends that have been in there. And other things. But to literally get off of the teacher thing, did you catch any of WrestleMania? Since I know
No,
you are a
Josh did.
wrestling fan.
No, Josh did. I have I have been so tired from these children because normally I run the campus from one end to the other. And when I get home, I haven't cooked in I don't know how many weeks because the strain with the lack of teachers, they're just pulling us in all kinds of different directions. I mean, the other day they had me as a support staff, then they had me teaching, then they had me in the cafeteria, and they were pulling me all over. And I told them I wasn't doing that anymore. And they didn't want to give me a key, even though I was a long-term permanent substitute to get into the classrooms because I was a substitute. I'm not entitled to a key. So I had to wait for somebody to keep coming. That's how we get treated as substitutes. This particular school.
We got.
So I was out in the rain. So I left that assignment.
Well, like we got. Nickel City Wrestling has a show coming up in May. Their special guest is Gangrel.
Who is it?
Gangrel from WWE. He used to be WWE part of he started the Brood.
Okay.
He's a wannabe vampire. He was with Edge and Christian.
I have no idea. Joshua would know more than that. My little sick boy with his arm. So
yeah, that must be driving him nuts, though.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it. I think he'll be set for life, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, the nice part is you guys are down in Florida, so he does get a chance. If he gets a chance to get down by the ocean, he can go fishing down there.
He hasn't even done that yet. He has nobody to do it with. Eric don't fish. So, are we still live on the air?
Yes.
Any more questions before we end? I'm ready to end.
No, we don't have any more questions.
All right.
So I will message you and talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, so we got 20 minutes left. Anybody want to talk? Call in, message, send anything you want. We can discuss things. We can discuss wrestling, or I can just kill the show. Excuse me. Which I'm probably just going to Thanks, Justin. And I will talk, Justin, I will, when I see you at May 7th show, I'll let you know who was on the phone with me. But, you know, and even, Justin, even you know, you've probably seen this too, because you're a volunteer fireman. The world's going to crap quick. And we've got, just look at, okay, for example, let's look at at volunteer firemen. There are not many people that want to volunteer anymore. There are not many people that want to put up with the amount of training that it takes to become a good volunteer fireman, a good EMT. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, it's just not worth it. And then you've got fire departments, not naming any names, that once you're removed from one department, like one of the volunteer departments, they don't let you volunteer in the whole city anymore. But I'm not going to, you know, I'm not bitter about it, but we'll deal with that later. So Justin, out of the matches announced for NCW, which one are you looking forward to seeing? And just so everybody knows that the next NCW show is May 7th at Eastern Hills Mall. And tickets are, front row tickets are sold out. And I think there are still a few general admission tickets available. You're looking at, if you pre-buy them, they're $25. I think they go up $5 at the day of the show, but we'll see how things work out. But you know, I'm gonna do this the easy way. Be safe, be strong, and see ya.